Welcome to Small Talk, where each week we sit down to discuss the sermon-based small group questions at Wallula Christian Church.
Hello and welcome back to Wallula's weekly podcast, Small Talk. My name is Zach Boland, student pastor here at Wallula Christian Church, joined by Craig Archer, worship pastor, and Lance Kaufman, lead pastor. They're laughing at me because I was clearing my throat before we started, so I
started thinking, how funny would it be if I just left that in there?
Oh, when I say, "Are you ready?" and then
But yeah.
just got to make sure it sounds good. There was one time in 8th grade, our youth pastor was like, "All right, let's go around and we're going to pray." And it was like, everyone's going to pray, like a little 1-sentence prayer. And then it gets to me, and I was like, "Dear Lord," and I mean, like, broke the silence with it. And I mean, it's all middle schoolers, right? And so I still remember, I still have some of my friends back then would be like, "Remember that one time?"
Yeah.
And so forever, I would always be like, before I start, if I know there's a break, sometimes it's just I got a cough, but yeah. So I don't know.
Make sure.
I'm not worried about the voice cracking part, but I don't know. Maybe there's something to it.
Yeah. From
a 14-year-old to, see, that's a 31-year-old's habit I have. Anyway, well, hey, we're glad that you're with us. That was a bonus answer. That wasn't even one of our first fun questions. What's an embarrassing...
How to start public speaking.
Yeah. Just get a little water.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah. So you could, that's how you do it. But
that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
That works for me.
Yeah.
So, sorry, yeah.
Are we going to edit any of this?
I don't know, but if anyone's watching
gold,
this, they see
man.
us trying to not laugh at the beginning of all that, and it was because Craig wouldn't stop smiling at me. Well, we're starting a new series and called The Unusual Suspects, and we're going to be going through the book of Matthew toward the end as we lead up to Easter. Before we jump into the small group questions, we are going to begin with our fun question, which says, if you are hosting a dinner party, what are you serving? So what is your go-to food, or what do you feel most comfortable doing, or what's your style? I don't know, any of that. What do you got, Craig?
First of all, I think it'd be wild for myself to invite people over and call it a dinner party. But if that were happening, I'd mostly say, "You want to come over for dinner?" But
you wouldn't say it's a dinner party then?
I have never thought of...
We need Katie up here. Katie has dinner parties.
Yeah,
she has themes.
I'm like, what happens at a dinner party?
Yeah.
What
you're just inviting
what
friends
constitutes
over.
A dinner
just
party?
Over for dinner.
Yeah.
That's a dinner party.
Yeah.
Although I'm gonna get some fancy invitations for Craig that say, "Come to my dinner party."
Yeah. We'll just send them out to random people
Will
in
you
the
be
church.
invited? And then it'll be fun.
RSVP.
I can be offended for not being invited.
Yeah.
And see who shows up at these fancy dinner parties.
So you've yet to have one.
Okay.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Well, I would make carnitas tacos.
Whoa.
I've been told that my carnitas tacos are restaurant quality.
Really?
By who?
My brother-in-law.
Okay. By my children.
No. I don't know if they would eat them.
This is as good as McDonald's. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking burgers.
Yeah, he told me one time that he would pay money for them. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I might as well if I'm having a dinner
make them
party.
and then charge.
Yeah.
Well,
charge for my dinner party.
What I think is funny is, like, I took yesterday off. I got back from a youth trip this weekend, so I was like, I'm going to take tomorrow off. And so when I came in this morning, I'm like, I need to get the questions. So normally I print them off myself, but I asked Craig, hey, can I print that off? And so I have his copy, and underneath it you wrote Pizza Hut.
Fun fact.
And so I'm wondering
what
happened from when you wrote this.
I got out my notes during church for the questions, so I could glance at them, and she looked over, and Haley leaned over and wrote Pizza Hut.
Oh, so this is Haley.
Yeah, trying to make me laugh.
She's not okay
in church.
Okay. She's not impressed with your tacos, and
she likes them too.
Yeah.
But she would rather serve Pizza Hut.
Yeah. Do you guys like Pizza Hut, or you don't like Pizza Hut?
We do like it.
Yeah. Was the joke that you would never serve Pizza Hut?
Well, we also live
You're
less
reckless.
than a minute from a Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So like, there's times where it's just like
You're going to Pizza
We're
Hut.
going to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, yeah,
and we
yeah.
enjoy it. The kids
Sure.
like it.
Sure.
Do you go to it or you just get it?
Oh, I guess, yeah, I've never been in it.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's just
say.
the drive-through window.
I'm not setting foot in there. Back in the day, it used to be, they
Yeah.
had the salad bar,
Well,
and
I
we
s-
would go on a Friday
I
night.
pass it every day. So they have buffet now on Tuesday nights.
Really?
They used to be an all, like...
I think so.
all
I
the
think
time.
Tuesday nights, yeah.
We only went to Pizza Hut when the Book It.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys have
Oh, yeah,
Book It?
yeah. The personal pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you had to read
Mm-hmm.
or say you read.
Don't give away the secret.
You either had to read or be comfortable lying about
Those are the two requirements.
what you've read. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a thing on the internet the other day.
That is true.
A
It's
grown
like,
man.
yeah, close enough.
He's like, every time I finish a book, I eat a whole pizza. It's just habit or something.
Conditioned.
Yeah.
Whole pizza. Yeah.
That is true, man. I wonder, and like Graham and Selah, I don't know if they've ever gotten like a personal pan. They don't do that now, I don't think.
Yeah.
And so that is a uniquely, the personal pan pizza.
Yeah.
For reading. Man, that was such a huge part growing
You don't
up.
think Pizza Hut has a personal pan pizza
They still
anymore?
do.
No. Connected to connected to school.
buckets.
Yeah.
You could just walk in there and be like, hey, I read a book. Do you have anything that I can...
You should just bring in a stack of books.
Yeah.
You
Bring
know,
in some
What
books.
do I get for these?
Yeah.
Just haul them in.
That's funny. Yeah, just,
I don't know. It'd be
just
funny
show them
to
your
me. I
Goodreads
don't
app
know.
and be like, look,
Yeah.
come on now.
Goodreads.
Like, that's
I think this is worth something.
look how much I've been
There you
commenting
go.
on these. Oh, that's funny.
Pizza Hut.
So not Pizza Hut,
Or
but you're-
carnita tacos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're doing that,
What's in your carnita tacos?
So I
Carnita means
pork,
I don't even know what that means.
like slow cooked pork.
I think I knew that.
And I like
Not me.
shove garlic into
Sure.
it when I cook it, and there's a pretty simple like dry rub. But then you put in I think I put in orange juice with it, so it sits in that while it cooks. So then like the orange juice mixes with
Right.
like the juice from the meat and stuff. So then when you're done, you pull it apart, but then you like
Right.
fry it in that juice so it gets crispy and like soaks in all that stuff.
Sounds pretty good.
And
Yeah. This is the best thing he makes. Have you ever had these?
No,
No.
Well, let's have a carnitas party.
well, you gotta
Think.
invite us over.
Yeah.
You have all that space with your 3 children.
Have a dinner party. All right.
Yeah, I don't like my space is pretty small, so there's a few times I've had people over, like I'll have students before, and it's just pretty simple. Like I don't have a signature dish or anything, so I know how to cook, but I'm not like, oh, I do this a lot and this is the one thing.
Right.
But it was just like hot dogs and or not hot dogs, hamburgers or hot dogs, anything on a grill.
Sure.
So if it's like where I live, it's going to be open back door so we can spread out some. And so, just deviled eggs. I'm really good at that whenever I go to someone's house. That's not my signature. I should
Really?
never, let me take that back. That is my signature thing of whenever I go to a family get together, they're like, make your deviled eggs.
Have
But-
we heard this before?
I remember you
like
telling
I
me.
may
Don't
have
you
said-
have a carrier?
Yes, I have 2 of them.
specific for the.
Because they kept asking me, and I just was like, I needed to find the biggest plate, and was so
You
yeah,
have 2 egg carriers.
yeah. They each hold.
He's serious about his.
Have,
deviled
you,
eggs.
have you ever had a deviled egg from him?
No.
No.
I haven't had any of the carnitas either. So, but
We're making the dinner party right now.
Something that could be grilled and easy. So like watermelon salad, vanilla ice cream,
Yeah.
dessert, something summery is what I was thinking. Like in the wintertime, I'm like, what? It'd have to be a small dinner party.
We're going to have to go into the archives because I feel like I've asked you this question before.
Okay.
But when you fill the deviled egg,
Mm-hmm.
is it like fancy? Is it like a design?
Like piping?
Do you have like a
No, I mean-
ruffle shape on
no,
top? or-
I mean,
I don't know what you
I'm
call
not
that.
there yet. I don't have my own personal filler with the
No.
the cap that does
Yeah.
it. I just plop it in a
Use a
Ziploc
spoon?
bag.
Oh, a
no.
Ziploc
Yeah,
bag.
I still pipe it, but it's like using a Ziploc bag that I put
Okay,
the tip
yeah.
on, and
Yeah.
but it's not
Not the shape.
decorated. But I have to make 2 different kinds because some people I like it with smoked paprika
Uh-huh.
on top, and mainly my sister. She's the only one who does it. So I make like
Yeah.
3/4 with it, and then I have about 6 that don't have anything. It's just the filling with all the stuff in it. because she's like, I don't like this, and she says it every time. So
Just the paprika she doesn't
the smoked
like.
paprika. Yeah, I mean, I'll still mix the yolks with stuff, but then on the top. Anyway, so yeah, I make one with, one without, and I have 2 trays. But that's not the main thing. Like, come over to my house for some deviled eggs.
I don't know. That could be.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things.
Just like people popping eggs.
Yeah, I know.
all night.
They do go. I mean, they're always gone anytime I take them somewhere. But yeah, as far as food goes, it's like I don't have a signature or anything, so it'd just be a hangout type food. So burgers and whatever else.
Yeah.
But what about you? You were talking about the smoker this morning.
I've been smoking things. There's a movie with Paul Newman in like prison. Didn't they eat just eggs?
Oh, the devil.
Popping eggs.
Yeah.
Talking about that.
Yeah, as a competition.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I've been smoking things. Meats.
There you go.
Clarification. It's good.
Yeah, these cigars are pretty good.
In a smoker. Yeah, so it'd probably be something like that right now.
Okay.
Ribs. Yeah. Sure.
That's a pretty good one. How long when did you start smoking things? Sorry.
Meat.
Yeah.
Meat, sorry.
Yeah. I just recently, in the last year,
Yeah.
acquired a smoker
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
And I haven't ventured too far out because most of it, the reason I was reluctant to try this is because it takes so long. And I'm pretty, I don't know. I could say I'm busy, but that's not really it. I'm just kind of lazy.
Impatient,
Yeah,
yeah.
impatient, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it does
I don't
take
wanna-
time.
Yeah, so I've only done things that you can do, kind of quickly. Ribs don't take that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did pulled pork the other day, a pork butt that has taken the longest. That takes a while. So depending on the size and everything, but
Yeah.
it took a while. It was okay. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I know it's a habit that you can dive into. Like, there's a lot of accessories. And,
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should shout out to Will Baker.
Yeah.
We should, I know he's pretty good at it now. And
Yeah, lots of people like
Bryce
to do that.
Jones.
Bryce Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had some of his. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So maybe
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
bring our stuff and
I've had Bryce Jones pulled pork before.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's his signature. He shared it with me, guys.
not me.
Called out.
Shout out to Bryce
For
we
sharing.
want to taste this. All right. Well, we are looking at questions number 6 and 10 from the small group questions this week. Question 6 says, "Is there a such thing as too much worship for Jesus? Why or why not? And what does it mean to worship Jesus extravagantly?" So when it comes to worshiping Jesus, can you go too far with that? Is there a limit? What did you have, Craig?
I like asking it like that.
I know.
And then thinking about someone being like,
That's too
you went
much.
too far.
I mean, yeah, almost accusatory. How dare you?
No, but I mean, the thought of like, is there such a thing as too much? I just think, well, look what Jesus did for us. And so for us to kind of like put some sort of like parameter or measurement onto it is kind of like, whoa, let's not go there, because that's kind of a wild thought in response to the gospel. So no, but it's kind of funny, like that word extravagantly, I'm like, it's a word we know, we say, and I'm like, what does it actually mean? So I just looked up the definition. In the first one, lacking restraint. It's like, okay, I can get that, because you're you like responding with like your heart and emotion to Jesus. So I get that, kind of like lacking some restraint, expressing those things. So costly, which makes sense. And Lance talked about that on Sunday. But then the last one, exceeding what is reasonable or appropriate. And then the last one was absurd.
Okay.
And so that kind of like starts to stretch the definition a little bit. And, I think with all of these, but especially that last part, exceeding what is reasonable or appropriate and absurd, I think in some way, any type of worship, the outside world would look in at the church and probably think that whatever level of
A little weird.
like this is kind of absurd. Why would you give up a whole Sunday morning to come together to worship? Or why does Zach go to the shelter in the middle of the night to man those hours? And why do we do these things that we do?
Right.
To the outside world, it's like, yeah, that is extravagant. And so, like, with that in mind, talking about this passage, and Lance talked about the perfume, the oil that was used, and how costly that would have been. I think you said like a year's worth kind of salary, like expensive, like incredibly expensive. So that goes into that definition of costly. And I think maybe you said it, or maybe I wrote it down, but like thinking about a Mary-sized worship, like what is that going to look like? And for the individual, it's going to be different.
Right.
What is extravagant for one person will look different for someone else.
Yeah.
So I just kind of I thought about ways that you can go about doing that, worshiping extravagantly, and maybe kind of starting to categorize it a little bit. But just thinking about like your attention, like your heart and mind, how is that set on Jesus throughout the day, and like remaining close to him throughout the day.
Right.
Loving like Jesus, the church and how we serve those around us and share the love of Jesus can be costly in different ways. Our resources, our time, our energy, that sort of thing. And like, so the further I got with like making this list, you can get all the way to like missionaries that will move to another place in the world for the sake of sharing the gospel or translating scripture into this language so that people can hear about Jesus for the first time, or like all these things. So it's just like you can go from Sunday morning worship to going to another the other side of the world because you feel called to do that. So it's just like, man,
and with each of those, you could ask, like, is this too much? And you're like, no, that's appropriate. That's what you're called to do. And even if you go to prison for your faith, and it's like, oh, well, that was too extravagant. That's you're going too far with it if you're willing to, go to prison. And it's like, nope, no, that's still appropriate. And if and so I'm trying to think of where there's legit. Oh, that's too far.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
I mean, Peter and Paul likely martyred for their faith, right?
Yeah.
So many others.
And so if you're willing to go for even your whole life, then for Jesus, then then what in between that would be too much. I remember there's a professor. He told us one story in chapel, and it's one of those things where I don't remember the sermon. I don't remember anything else, but I remember this one story where he said they had some friends who, it was a family who they were kicked out of their house, and so they stayed with him and his wife and their family. But it was some parents and kids, and so it's just a packed house, and they had stayed there for months. And he said that a lot of times when he does something that's really big, and it's like, man, this is a real big inconvenience, it was people within the church who's like, hey, I mean, it's great you're doing that, but isn't this a bit much? Where he's questioning, like, okay, you should.
Right.
When are they going to go? And he says, anytime that I start to get questioned about, is this too much? He goes, I start to think maybe I'm doing the right thing. Like anytime I'm serving God, serving Jesus, and someone's like, this seems too much. And he goes, that's an indicator to me that, I think this is what Jesus would have wanted. But when I think about, is there too much worship for Jesus? Same for you. I said no, but then also maybe. But I'll qualify that later. But the first one is no, it's not too much. I saw this quote where it says, we can't overestimate the worth of Jesus, therefore we can't over-worship him. And so even to the point of if it cost us our life, then, so be it, if that's where it leads us. But we've said multiple times that worship is not just music. So we talk about worshiping with our time and our money and obedience and talents and abilities. And there will be specific times in our life when we're called to give above and beyond. So like, in this story, it's with the perfume. She wasn't doing that every day. She wasn't doing that but in this specific situation, she felt moved to do this for Jesus. And so, there's times in our life when like with that professor, Jeff Snell, he housed those people, right, for that season. And so there's times when we are going to be called with our time or money or talents to go above and beyond and it be appropriate, even if other people wouldn't. And so, yeah, I think, no, I don't think there's too much worship. Like, oh, I've just banked some extra jewels in my crown for heaven there. I think it's exactly what you should be doing. The only reason I said maybe if it's too much is only if we're leaning on worship in place of doing what we should be. So, for example, like if we're saying I'm going to church and I'm singing and I'm doing all this stuff, but there's no obedience attached to it. I'm using worship as sort of I've done my, like on the outside, it looks like it's good. But I think there was a passage in Isaiah chapter 1. Let's see. Oh, did I get the right passage? Yes. It says, "The multitude of your sacrifices, what are they to me, says the Lord? I have more than enough burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fattened animals. I have no pleasure in the blood of bulls and lambs and goats. Wash and make yourselves clean. Take your evil deeds out of my sight. Stop doing wrong. Learn to do what is right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed." So when our worship on the outside looks like, oh, we're worshiping, but we're not actually being transformed. We're not living in obedience. We're not doing our duty. So that's the reason I said, can it be too much worship? And I just meant from the outward show. But like, no, as far as what you could sacrifice and give up to follow God, there's not a limit. There's not going to be one thing where it's like, nah, that's too much. You're going too far.
God prefers mercy over sacrifice. Like think about the Good Samaritan. These guys on their way to worship, right? And well, I'm going to pass. This guy I could help, and instead you get that wrong. I when I thought about this, no, I don't think you can worship Jesus too much. Kind of along the lines where Zach was thinking, I started to think, okay, well, what do you mean by worship, right? And you start, there's some things that maybe, we don't do in our worship services because I think in those worship services they might do more harm than good, right? It depends, and this is all. Look, I'm not pointing fingers because there are folks, well, I told you guys in staff meeting, had this phone call from a Church of Christ pastor, wanted to get together, non-instrumental Church of Christ pastor, and some of those folks would say, well, you guys are a step too far.
Right.
I mean,
true.
You got those crazy guitars and drums in the worship service, and that's too much. That's not... from their perspective, they didn't play guitars in the New Testament. You shouldn't play them in worship. And so there's different levels here, right? But there's some there are different sects of Christianity that practice snake handling, right? That's maybe a step too far, right? More harm than good.
Right.
And we don't practice speaking in tongues in our worship service because that public act of speaking in tongues is going to do more harm than good, probably, and lots of other reasons. But or you watch like TV evangelists or Benny Hinn types and healing services, and I'm not here to question their validity, only that I am,
I would.
and what in the world's going on there, and like that age-old question, why aren't they in the children's ward of the cancer hospital? Really this giftedness, but anyway, we're not. I don't mean to be.
But like if worship is something that you're going
to
just to get something out of,
versus
be transformed and then
sure. But as long as it's biblical,
right,
Christ-centered,
right,
your heart is focused on Him, worship, then no, you can't go too far. Like all the examples that Craig gave are great examples, right? And it just is going to look different for each person. And you mentioned that, and I can't help but think just because the perfume cost a lot of money, right? And that's mentioned by the disciples in this passage, and I thought this week about the widow and widow's mite, the widow who gave that little penny in the temple, and Jesus said, act like her, right? And it's not the amount that you give or whatever, but that sacrifice we talked about Sunday, that I think extravagant worship requires some sacrifice. And I think, I couldn't figure out how to say this best. Even on Sunday, I was struggling, this week as I trying to communicate, and I kind of settled on, you want to be very Jesus-centric in your worship. In other words, you want to be focused on Him and not on other people. And so don't worry about what other people say, or others might say, well, maybe that is too much, and don't. I mean, as long as it's obeying Jesus and honoring Him, then. And I wrote down in my notes here, don't be concerned with what others say, and at the same time, be very concerned with others. Right? Yeah. That's what real worship is. Kind of the example of that Good Samaritan. Right? Well, don't worry if somebody says you shouldn't touch that guy, but man, be worried about that guy who needs help out of the ditch. And so I just think we need to be really focused on him. And I haven't seen it today where I think, man, that is too much. You better dial it back. I think about stories I've shared from the pulpit in my student ministry days. I've had parents at different times come to me and told this story about a kid who was reading his Bible at the baseball game, right? And he needs to stop that. Yeah. I'm not sure I can tell him to,
right?
Or a dad who was concerned because his daughter, stopped playing soccer to be in the discipleship group at church, and that's really hard. I mean, I get that you put a lot of time and energy and resources, and I didn't understand it as much then, having not been a parent, but or not very long anyway. But man, I don't know if I can tell that kid to stop. I don't think that's too far. Or the student who wants to go to Bible college, man, it's going to cost a lot more money than the junior college down the road. Should I really make this investment? And I mean, if that's what God is calling you to do with your life, I'm not sure I can say no.
Right.
I mean, we got to figure it out, and I think the church should be a bigger help in helping figure some of that out. But we got to figure it out. Or our friend Dave Coleman. Do you think this is crazy? Maybe a little bit, but. If that's what Jesus is calling you to do, you should probably do it. That's probably an appropriate step.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And so thinking about even more broadly, as we go to the last question, number 10, it says, if you could be remembered for one thing in your relationship with Jesus, what would it be? So very open-ended, just as you think about your own life, what is the one thing that you want to be remembered for when it comes to Jesus?
Yeah. It's such a good question.
It was like, man, there's no research. I have to look up a word. And I was thinking, man, it gave me pause.
You sit with it for a second. And it reminded me of, it's in one of John Mark Comer's books, I think the latest one. But he was saying how oftentimes people are concerned they live in a way that like they want to build their resume. It's like what's happening right now because we want to have the credentials and whatever, that bullet list of like things that look good. And then in reality, we should be living for our eulogy, because when it comes time for your funeral, people don't get up and like, man, what a salesman. Like that's not what people are going to talk about.
Right.
And it had that same sort of kind of tone to the question where it's just sat and paused like, what do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah.
And so I kind of like danced around this same thought of like just wanting to be remembered for always remaining close to Jesus, in multiple ways, but like just
right,
like I said earlier, remaining close to him like throughout the day and looking to him, leaning on him, like having such a intimate relationship with Jesus to where it has a ripple effect out from me, like in my marriage, in my children, in my ministry. Like, I want that to be the thing that fuels my life so much that like people can't help but think like he must be spending some time with Jesus, you know? So that's kind of where I landed. And I was like, man, how do you like package that? Or like, what's the right words to use? But I think just, like remaining close to him. And you think about like the disciples in those intense years of just constantly being with him and how that affected their life after he was gone too. Just things like that. It's like, there's so much value in always remaining close to him.
Right.
So,
I just started writing down like words that I was thinking were important to me, like faithful and loved people and all this stuff. And I think if I was trying to come up with like a sentence or something, and it's not great, but it's what I ended with now before this started. I just said that I cared for people and pointed them towards Jesus. And then I thought that's in general what I wanted to come away with, that people felt like I, appreciated who they are, even if they were different than me or anything else that, and then because of that, knowing me helped to take them, push them or lead them or guide them or whatever, just closer to Jesus, wherever they were. And then I had a second thought. I was like, I don't know how to incorporate this too, but then I was like, also that he was faithful to the end. And I think back to when I was in college and the things that I would look at in other Christians back, that's what I want to be like. So in college, it was those who got good grades. Oh, well, that's where it's at. Those who are acing everything. And I've seen multiple people who I thought would have been professors and like not even believed now. And as I get older, it's people within the church sometimes who don't go at all. And then even religious leaders that I look up to. And I'm more and more impressed with just the faithful, the older people at Wallula and in my life that are just nothing special. They're just faithful in how they live and in how they, I know I said that, I probably said something there, but just people who are steadily faithful.
Yeah,
and,
which is pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing flashy. It's just and they're still an example. We still talk about, them in the church and be like, man. Yeah. And I just think, look, I don't need to be the best. I don't need to be anything. I just want to, in 2 Timothy, fight the good fight and finish the race and keep the faith. And I think that's the example I want to have whenever the eulogy happens. And that when people stand up, they could say, loved people and pointed them to Jesus. So,
yeah, I don't have a good answer. I mean, my answer is Acts chapter 4, verse 13, right? That when they saw the courage of Peter and John and realized that they were ordinary, unschooled men, they were amazed and they took note that these men had been with Jesus.
And so, with what Craig was saying too.
just to be that somehow in whatever way, that people would. That's what they write on your, tombstone or whatever, right? That oh yeah, he had been with Jesus. You could tell, right? And I think that comes out in different ways with different people, based on, how God has shaped each individual. For me, I mean, there's some things like, man, I want to preach God's word well. Right. I want to take time and work hard at that and try to do that the best I can and somehow to be used by God through that. Well, not everybody has that opportunity or whatever, and they're going to use their other skills and talents to show how they've been close with Jesus, and or Jesus is going to work through those skills and talents to show that they've been close to him. And but to me that's the end goal, right? And that's what sort of we can control. You'll hear coaches sometimes say, you just control what you can control, right? And in other words, just kind of do what you can. The game is going to play out the way it can, right? I thought, oh man, I want my kids to love and follow Jesus. Well, that's true, but but I really can't control that. You know, I've done some things, and you know, and I'm married well, and so you know, Sherry did a great job, and all those things, right? We've done our part and continue to do our part in encouraging them to love and follow Jesus. But I mean, that's a choice they have to make. You know, they have to decide: is this true? Do I want to follow him? And so, you know, I can't say, oh, I want to have a church that this is this big, or you know, all that. I don't have anything, but you catch what I'm saying, or convert this many people, or whatever, lead this many people to Jesus. Well, I mean, those things are kind of outside of our control. What we can do is demonstrate that we've been near him, and let him do what he wants with it.
Yeah. No, it's a great question, and it's one that I'm like, you know, working in ministry for 20 years, I'm like, what is it that I want to be remembered for? And so, yeah, if you're listening, be thinking about that too, because I think it really helps to shape how you see your life and what you want it to be about. But anyway, looking forward to this sermon series and the questions that are going to come from it. And we'll see you guys next week.